Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on our webinar to talk about how to create a content plan that drives results. We are so excited to have all of you guys here today. We recognize a lot of people will still be hopping on. So go ahead and share with your friends as well. If they want to hop on this webinar, they're welcome to. This will also be recorded, so you can go back and watch it, and you can share with your friends as well. So let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is McKenna, and I am on the corporate marketing team over at doTERRA headquarters. So I'm super excited to be with you guys today. This webinar today is hosted by us and our partners. Behind the scenes of doTERRA Social is our partners called Promo Republic. So Raquel and her team, they're really amazing. Raquel, do you want to just say hello really quick?
McKenna. Hello, everybody. This is Raquel from Promo Republic. I run, the partnership between doTERRA and Promo Republic, which results in doTERRA Social. And with me today, I have my support team. So if you have questions, please direct everything to our question and answer box, and our team will be able to help out any questions. And as a quick reminder, this webinar is about, creating a content plan and is more topical about that content plan and social media marketing itself. If you're maybe new to doTERRA Social or want some tips and tricks on how to use it, I would recommend watching one of our onboarding webinars, which you can find either in the Facebook group or on our landing page. So again, today's more topical, and we hope you enjoy.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Raquel. Yeah, so just so everyone understands, doTERRA Social is the doTERRA branded version of Promo Republic. So behind the scenes is the amazing Promo Republic team. They have been super awesome to work with. As we were looking at different tools that we're offering wellness advocates, we realized that there were some gaps in what wellness advocates needed and what we're offering. And so we partnered with these great partners. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our agenda today. So today we're going to be talking about content plans. So we're going to talk about why you need a content plan. We're going to talk about what a content plan is. We'll also talk about different formats and types of content. And then we'll talk about ideal posting times for different platforms and networks. And then at the end, if we have some extra time, we'll go ahead and do some question and answer. So first off, we want to emphasize the importance of consistency on social media. So to succeed on social, you need to not only be inspiring, but also consistent in your posting. If you're not consistently posting, your followers are going to forget about you. So it's really important to have a plan in place to make sure that you're consistent and that you're reminding your customers about your products and the solutions that you offer to the issues that they're running into. So let's go ahead and talk about why you need a plan. So the first reason we talked about to maintain consistency, to be genuine and have variety in your content, and then also to track the goals that you have set. So anytime you use social media for business, it's important to plan ahead. You should think about the kinds of posts you're planning to publish and when you'll use them. Without this type of forethought, you might miss some of the opportunities to use social media to help build your brand and to help gain more customers. You also don't want to run out of the content that you have. So for example, if you have a holiday coming up, for example, this weekend is the 4th of July in the United States, you'll want to put out content according to that so that you can stay relevant. You're on topic with kind of the social media scene of what's going on, as well as if there's like a promotion coming up. Today's the 1st, as all of you know, so we had some great promotions come out for doTERRA with the product of the month and the 10% off, the fennel and ginger. So those are important to be aware of. And then you also, when you don't plan your content, you might feel like you're playing catch up. It might feel kind of like you're trying to follow the trends, but you're feeling a little lost. So a content plan is a great way to be proactive and to have a specific strategy to what you're posting to help you connect with your audience. So the next thing I want to talk about is what is a content plan. So a content plan is a schedule for all of your content that you're going to post in the near future. All right, so a content plan is helping you to schedule. We've talked about this a little bit, but just being organized and helping you to stay creative in your posts. If you're rushing last minute to post, it makes it really stressful, and it kind of takes the fun out of the social media planning. So as long as you stay on top of it, it's going to help you implement your strategy and build your business on social media way better. So a great content plan consists of two parts. So we're going to talk about what to post and when to post it. So those are the most important parts of a content plan. So first off, let's go ahead and talk about what to post. So when we're thinking about what to post, we want to consider the following questions. So first off, you want to consider, how can you help solve a problem for your followers or your customers? What solutions do you offer, and how is it going to help them? It's also important to kind of take into account, what do you like talking about? What do you normally post about? And is there a certain type of content or subject that you're drawn to or that you're an expert in? So it's important to take into those two parts, as far as how can you solve a problem for people, but also what do you most like talking about and what do you have to offer? From there, it's really important to identify your audience. So after you've thought about some of these questions, then you want to go ahead and identify your audience. So this is something that we touched on in our last educational webinar. If some of you were there, we talked about the importance of understanding who your audience is. And this is a really great exercise to go through if you're unsure of who your audience is or who you're targeting, because if you don't have a target in mind, marketing to everyone is the same as marketing to nobody. So it's really important to kind of have something specific in mind. So if you haven't done this before, this is a great exercise that you can do as you're understanding your audience and creating your content plan. So ask yourself, what does your audience like? What do they do during the day? What's important to them? What challenges do they face? And what do they want to know? So for example, maybe you identify that your target market, who your audience is stay-at-home moms. So maybe when you're asking yourself, what do they do during the day? They're at home with the kids, they're cooking, they're cleaning. So that's a great way to brainstorm ideas for specific posts that are going to address that specific audience. So from here, let's go ahead and talk about what to post. So you want to have a combination of different types of posts. So you want to have a balance with doTERRA and posts about you. So we're going to talk a little bit about branded content as well as lifestyle. So branded content is more like those specific doTERRA posts. You can find a ton of these in the doTERRA social library, which is really great. And it gives you a little bit more credibility on your page, having that content. Your friends and followers will also respond really well to content that is personalized. So that's what we call lifestyle content. So we'll go ahead and give some examples in the next couple of slides, but lifestyle content is more of like you specifically using the products in your life. So you don't have to make every single post picture perfect and pristine, but you do want to do your best. And you want to be true to who you are as a person, as far as people aren't buying doTERRA from doTERRA, they're buying it from you as a brand ambassador for doTERRA. And people will keep coming back because they like who you are and they see how authentic you are. So we're going to go ahead and show you a couple examples of, first off, branded content. So here's some examples here. It has a little doTERRA logo in the corner. This one's about Bergamot and then July promotions. So these kind of give you a bump of credibility to talk about doTERRA and the brand. So it kind of feels more official. And so I think these are some great examples of branded content. And there's so much branded content on doTERRA Social. When you log in there and check it out, we'll have Raquel show us in a couple minutes, but there's tons of content on there. Next, we're going to show you a couple examples of lifestyle content. So here's some examples. This cute girl sharing her oils, or maybe you actually did a DIY breakfast at home and you want to show that as well. Maybe you have a picture of you putting oils on your kids. something when you're just using the oils in everyday life is really effective because people can see how you are using it, and it makes it feel more real, not just like some pristine product that you never actually touch. So next, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to actually turn it over to Raquel. She's going to take it from here to talk about what to post and the various types of content.
That was a really great overview on how to, narrow down your audience and just create a content plan and the important components. So I'm really excited to talk about, the breakdown of the content types and how to create that plan with you. And again, just like McKenna, I also have quite a lot of examples for you to take a look at and get inspired by. So let's start. So what to post? One thing that we always get questions in the doTERRA social Facebook group or just in general is, how do I know what to post? So I'm here to explain the 4 different content types that you see in front of you, because a truly well-balanced social media account or page really posts all of these types of content. So this is what you want to encompass. So breaking it down, what is engaging content? These are posts that you want people to comment on or take an action on. So this is like liking, sharing, tagging each other. I'm sure you're familiar with tagging either your friends or family members in the comments of some brands if you don't do that already, or when doTERRA business pages, are releasing their posts. I know I see some tagging going on in those comments. And this is really great because that means you get engagement. So when social media users are liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, tagging, etc., that is called engagement. That's why this is engaging comments. Another clue as to what engaging content should be can be taken by the word engaging itself, right? Because this is what we want them to do with that content. So again, as McKenna mentioned, we do have examples of this, and I will show you how to find all of this in doTERRA Social itself. But about 40% of what you should be posting is engaging content. And I know that 40% is a lot, right? Because that's almost half. So we have a few examples in the coming slides that could be like an Instagram story or something funny about your day. And this can be something personal that you're sharing, just like a lifestyle photo or a branded photo, like McKenna highlighted in the previous slides. So you might post a question on Facebook, something that, encourages people to respond as well. So promotional content this is where we have the pleasure of working hand in hand with doTERRA Corporate to highlight all of the amazing promotions that you have. Like McKenna said, your 10% off and your oil of the month. So this is, special offers, news about doTERRA, giveaways, sales, BOGOs, so on, and so forth. So remember, when you're talking about your social media channels for doTERRA business, promotion's not always super relevant on your personal account. As mentioned through McKenna, you want to make sure that whatever you're highlighting is fitting in with what you care about, what your voice is, and your personal brand. And promotional content is about 30% of that mix. So it's not as high as engaging content, but still a large chunk of that pie. And it's important to be flexible here. You want to see how the content is resonating with your followers and if they're interested in engaging with that. And some social media viewers might prefer educational to promotional, or during BOGO week, you want more promotional. So this is ebbs and flows. You don't have to, keep a strict 40, 30, 20, 10. But let's move on to that 20 part of the pie. We have educational content. So this is any type of education that you're giving, like tips, tricks, hacks, or my favorite doTERRA content, which is recipes, because you're showing your followers and your community how to easily incorporate the essential oils into, let's say, maybe your morning routine or your Instagram highlights or stories. And this is a great part where you can have, again, a mix of branded as well as lifestyle content, because you can easily show someone, just like in the examples McKenna showed, 4 uses of bergamot, or how you're using the lemon essential oil in your breakfast routine. So this is really a great bit of content. And again, right around that 20%. And the last bit, which is the smallest, and it's that 10% window, is curated content. And what this means is that it's the last bit of content that's not actually created by you, but it's sharing what others are posting that you're finding insightful and helpful. So it's not also just sharing something on your Facebook or reposting something on Instagram. It's also adding a personal blurb or response on top of that. This can be something like sharing articles, videos, blog posts, where you're able to highlight that. And this performs really well on Facebook and Pinterest. So again, this is only about 10%. But it has a lot of great benefits because this helps fills in some gaps in your content calendar, and you don't have to think about creating something from scratch. So it's really helpful and really easy to do. So let's take a look at some examples. So here we have a really great engaging post. So what makes this engaging? This is a motivational quote paired with a question in the comments, or sorry, the caption. So you see here, which oils are your go-to for relieving stress? This is a perfect example because that image is really captivating. It makes me want to share. It makes me want to like it. And then I'm able to easily just come into the comments and say, my favorite oil is so-and-so. So this is really a great example here. Then moving on to this one, this is really great because this is, again, engaging personality quiz. Find out which one is the best for your personality. So there's a lot of different types of engaging content. You don't always have to post a quote. You don't have to post a question. This is really here to inspire you. Now let's take a look at some promotional content. Here you can see this is a highlighting that 15% off for June. So it doesn't have to be a giant for sale sticker on the post. You can see it shows a product. It's really well curated and aesthetically, like, it calms you almost instantly. But at the end, you get that tip, 15% off. And then in the comments, again, you get a really great testimonial to it. And I do see one question about open-ended questions and things like that. Yes, that is perfect if we go back a slide or two for engaging content. Open-ended questions help start the conversation, and that's exactly what you should think of engaging content as. It's a starting point, and then the reciprocating side of that answering question is your followers and your colleagues. So this is a really great question. And then again, educational content. There's a lot of this in doTERRA Social itself, and I love it because this really helps educate those that are not so savvy with essential oils or your audience on how to use it. And again, it is taking a piece of content and adding your personal touch to it. So you can really see the copy and in the caption really highlighting that as well. So we focused a little bit about the ideal content balance. So let's talk about types of content. So what does that mean? So each social media takes different social content, but in general, you can post pictures, videos, GIFs, live streams, or stories. And the different formats that you have help your audience stay engaged with you. You don't just want to post like 100 product images back to back. You again want to have this balanced content plan and also have different types of content. So you have photos, branded or lifestyle, then you can do videos, then you can shoot a quick Instagram story of yourself, like doing things with the oils, and it's really simple to do. So you can see here we have some videos. This is a perfect way to share instructions, tips, and to highlight products. And you can see this is taken via Pinterest. And then the last is what to post. And I think this will actually help answer a lot of the questions that I'm seeing in the question and answer box right now, which is all about where do I get these images? I love this. How can I get started? So what to post is really that resource. Because I know some of you may be like, how am I going to think of all of these ideas and create so many content types? And how do I do it so balanced and regularly, because this is exactly why John Dye and McKenna from doTERRA Corporate came to us, and we have this partnership. Through doTERRA Social, you're able to get our Post Ideas library, which is 100% compliant content that's editable or that you can build your images on. And it's really quick to post. So you can go from just having a few ideas to having a full library in front of you. And also that, doTERRA Social is one component, as you can see through the Post Ideas library and upcoming events, but also your peers. If you find something that you love on Instagram, you can either, repost it, recreate it, or put your own personal spin on it. So here's just a little overview of doTERRA Social, but as promised, I'm going to give you a little insight into the Post Ideas library. I will not give a full how-to. Again, if you're looking for a deep dive into every nook and cranny of doTERRA Social, I recommend checking out the onboarding webinars, which are on our landing page. But once you go to doTERRA Social, you're able to really hit the ground running. You can see I already created my week really easily, and in fact, about a minute. So what we're going to do is go into content and Post Ideas library. Now, and then click July, because July 1st is today. And as McKenna said, this is when all of the promotions go live. This is when the content in doTERRA Social also goes live. So you can see you have the July products of the month, you have everything. We have some cover images for you if you want to highlight how to use turmeric. So this is a really great way to highlight engaging content, such as this one, which essential oil gets you hooked. Or if we go back, we have some recipes here as well, right here, promotion, 10% off. So this is already the tools to be successful by having a balanced, thematic, and time-sensitive content in here. And the benefit is we have the monthly templates that, as you can see, are uploaded every month on the 1st of the month. And my favorite part about it, if we click use and edit, now you're into the graphics editor, and every single component of this is editable. So I did see one question earlier today that was, okay, I love the content, but what about my language? Because as you can see, we mainly have at this time US and English speaking content, and we're starting to slowly but surely put in Spanish and Canadian content in here. But you can edit this. You can fully translate this to your native language if you have a market that is a language other than English, for example. So you can move the background. If I want to change it from Instagram, if I just want this to be a story, you can see how easy it is to really drag, drop, reposition, make sure it's perfect, and then move everything up to ensure that it's visible for that. So again,
Raquel?
really.
Also, I just wanted to chime in here as well to say, I noticed another question about asking if Facebook or Instagram will flag content because certain people could be sharing the same content. So that's one of the greatest things, is that this feature is editable, this platform, so that you are not sharing the exact same content as other people. So if you go in and make slight edits to it, then you won't have any issues with that.
Great points. And that's exactly what we're highlighting here, how easy it was to make a few changes in, I would say, under 30 seconds. I just created an Instagram story from a template, and now you can click use and schedule it and so on. So you can personalize it, and that's exactly what we want you to do. So if we go back, the content section in the Post Ideas library, this is all editable and for your use in the monthly template section. But as you see, we have so many folders. We have education folders, promotions, US holidays. So we have some, July promotions here. And then if you want to create your own posts, you can absolutely do that. So you can see this is a starting point. These are backgrounds that you can add text, maybe your own personal logos or whatever that may be on top of this. And then if you click more, I always want to highlight that. We have some different folders and categories here. So if I have a Spanish speaking market, we can come in here and start using Spanish speaking. And in fact, this is the exact template I was just editing, but it's all ready to go in Spanish. So come in here, play around, edit, spend some time familiarizing, because this is your resource. And then once you find something that you love, again, the hard part might be, okay, how do I remember to schedule it? No problem. You have your pages, you select it, you can customize the copy, and then you click schedule. So you choose your exact date and time that you want to post it, and then you can schedule it and see it in your calendar. So you can see it here. Wow, I selected the same template twice. I was so drawn to that when I was creating my plan. But you can see, really easy to do. And again, this was just a 5-minute overview of our platform and the Content Hub. We do have an in-depth, about 20 to 30-minute overview, as well as some additional resources in our landing page, which I will put in the chat box for you to do. But also you can go to our Facebook group and find that there. The last piece of the puzzle is really about when to post. So we want to maintain frequency, and that's why the scheduling aspect of doTERRA Social is so important, because you're able to just schedule it out across each social media page that you have and essentially set it and forget it. So Facebook, we want to see about 3 times a week at a minimum, ideally 1 post per day there. Same with Instagram. You want to see daily posting, but not more than 3 times a day. We know we see some, and again, to each your own. If you have a posting frequency that's already working for you, that's amazing. And you're able to use that to your advantage. And then Pinterest, because it's a pin-based medium, we want to see you posting, or pinning something or contributing to that pot at least 3 times per day. So we also do have a sneak peek of an ideal content plan. So this is, just something that we've created quickly that you can see different types of content all in one day. So maybe you have a Pinterest pin, 3 repins, as you can see, an Instagram engaging post, a Facebook promotional post, Instagram promotional post, engaging, and so on. So this is all great because, again, you can do this in seconds in doTERRA Social and just schedule to every single platform you have and go from there. So it is really easy to do this once you've spent some time getting acquainted with the platform and, again, digesting the different types of content. And I have seen, again, some questions about how to post. So the first, since we've already highlighted doTERRA Social, is going to be in regards to suggested posts. So twice a week, you'll notice that doTERRA has suggested posts for approval in your calendars if you connected a social media page to that. So this is yours to either approve, edit, or delete. You don't have to use it right away, so don't worry. And it will never post unless you actually physically click approve. And then the second part is, as we just saw very quickly, which is to create and schedule your own content, and really easily too. So that is really it for today. We do have time for questions and to open it up. And I wanted to thank McKenna for really discussing about branding and creating that content plan. And before I transition it back to McKenna, I did want to answer one question that we see about pricing just on doTERRA Social very quickly. So it starts at $21 a month, but the really good news is that every single wellness advocate gets a free trial. And the way to access the pricing plans is when you're in your own doTERRA Social account, hover over your name and go to pricing. And then you can see all of the plans here. And all of the plans are exactly the same. You get all of the features we discussed today, and obviously all that you didn't see that are in our onboarding webinars, but you get the different number of social media profiles. So you get 2 profiles to start with, and it goes 4, 6, and then 15. And another sub question to that is, what is a social media profile? That is, let's say you have 1 Instagram page and 1 Facebook business page, that counts as 2 profiles. But let's say I have an Instagram page, a Facebook business page, and 2 Facebook groups that I am actively contributing to, that would bump you up to 4. So each one counts as 1. So keep that in mind moving forward. But with that, I wanted to thank you so much for joining us today, and I will turn it back over to McKenna.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Raquel. And thank you everyone for joining. We've had a lot of great questions. We weren't able to get to all of them today. Some of you have really great questions that are kind of deeper dive questions. So we'll take note of those and we'll use those as suggestions for content on the Facebook page. So if you want to join the Facebook page, you'll just need to search doTERRA Social on Facebook and it should come up. And then if you're wanting to sign up today, go ahead and sign up. There's a 2-week trial. There's also a post today on the doTERRA Facebook business page with a link as well to doTERRA Social. They posted about getting content for the first of the month. And so if you want to check out the Facebook business page for doTERRA, it's just doTERRA Business, then you can get the link there as well. And so make sure you go ahead and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, just go ahead and try it. You don't have to put in any credit card information when you sign in. And you can also use your doTERRA login to sign in, so you don't have to remember an extra one, which is really great. So there's a lot of great questions here. We're so glad that all of you joined us. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we wanted to mention before we hop off. Make sure and take a look at these resources that Raquel mentioned before. So if you just go to social.doterra.com, that is the login page. If you go there right now and log in, if you haven't previously had an account, it will automatically start your 2-week free trial. So you're welcome to do that.
If you I did just want to, step in.
Yeah, go ahead.
I made a complete error, and your wellness advocates are amazing because they are attentive, and it's been a long day and it's only noon, but you're absolutely right. So in regards to pricing, it starts at $21 per year, so it's really crazy affordable, and everything that was in the slide, or the platform that I showed you, is annually. So that is the price for the year. So thank you so much for catching that. I did want to make sure that everyone understood that it's incredibly cheap, or not cheap, but well priced, so to speak, to take advantage of this for your own social media and really level up your game on social.
Awesome. Thank you, Raquel. I'm so glad we caught that. Yes, so annually. This is a steal of a deal. So make sure and check that out. Jump on the 2-week free trial. And if you have questions, join the Facebook page. Email our support, which is doterra@promorepublic.com. And we're super excited for you guys to get started with this. Hopefully this webinar was helpful for you guys. And thank you so much for joining us today.